Tell me how awesome Spain was.
Spain was great.
Yeah.
Spain was fantastic. The weather was relatively nice, and I saw the the one A or one B, depending on what day of the week it is when you're
Mm,
talking to me.
okay.
Greatest band on the planet. So,
Is this
um,
Fish or Radiohead, or are those the 1A, 1B? Yeah.
exactly. So, um, my review of the show is an interesting one for a number of reasons. First and foremost, I haven't been to many in the round shows. I've been to a couple. Obviously, wrestling is in the round, but they also have an end stage. So I don't know how they approach audio, but I've never experienced uh
And that just means the audience is 360 degrees around the
yeah,
stage, right? It's
they're
not
in the
just,
middle
yeah.
of the floor. So, have you not seen pictures or anything? I mean, I
Oh, no,
sent
I
you,
have. I'm just
yeah.
clarifying for listeners. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for everyone at home, I know I forget sometimes that these things that are just like throwaway terms in my mind are
hmm
very foreign to some people. So in the round means that the audience is surrounding the stage in its entirety. It is an island in a sea of people. Um, it has its pros, it has its cons. The big thing here, and I've heard this on every show now. So it was not an isolated experience, but they have been dealing with some audio difficulties.
Oh, no.
Um, and I don't know. So apparently, we'll just put this out there. They have a new crew on this tour. For what reasons, I have no idea. I will say that I just by coincidence stayed at the same hotel as their manager
Ah.
and did get to talk to him about it a little bit, and he was very vague, as most managers are in situations such as, "Hey, why isn't your lighting designer of 30 years on this
Yeah.
tour?" So apparently their audio engineer of 20 years is also not on this tour.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
so I don't know, I don't know if it's just, I mean they're a difficult band to mix under ideal situation or circumstances. So I don't know how much of it has to do with the engineer, how much of it has to do with the in around situation.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was tricky. For me, I guess, just because I know how to listen in these situations, it didn't bother me as much as it bothered a lot of. I mean, there are people that have been very, very vocal about it
hmm
online.
I can imagine.
And
Yeah.
there were things that I noticed where I was like, damn, I wish like the mix was a little cleaner. But all in all, I was able to dial in. The audience, at least the people in my section, were incredibly uh, well behaved.
Nice.
No jibber jabber. There was one guy in front of me. I don't know if he was English or maybe Irish. He had like a hooligan uh esque nature to him, so
Uh-huh.
he liked to bellow some, just kind of shit, during some quiet moments. Other than that, everyone was really good. I
Nice.
read I there was like reading like the online reviews and stuff. There was a lot of people complaining about the people, like the audience in general, just like over singing
Mm.
or talking, which is always
Yeah.
a problem at concerts. But I didn't experience any of that actually. So I
Nice.
got lucky. I guess the fourth night, everyone kind of finally settled in, and you know, great crowd. European arenas are always so interesting to me because they are what's they're more efficient, it
Hmm.
seems. Now, again, I don't know if it's the arena or if it's the people or the artists that I see in these circumstances.
Sure.
Um, but like I literally we walked in through security and were at our seats in less than 2 minutes. Like from outside the building,
Yeah.
2 hour seats, less than 2 minutes. It was crazy. And it was easy. And
Hmm.
like, there were no problems. Everything was chill and great. And so, so yeah, we talked about this on another episode, but like seeing shows in Europe is a very different experience than seeing shows in America.
Yeah.
And
A lot less guns. Just in general in Europe, I think like I feel like security,
I
is
see.
is
I
like
see.
that's like a factor with that. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's a lot more scrutiny here
Yeah,
because
that's true. I didn't even think about that.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that definitely factors in then. Yeah, I would say so. But also, I think that there's a more blasé attitude towards. But also, I think Europeans are also more responsible in their
Mm,
recreational activities. So
sure.
like, there isn't this like you know overabundance of like we gotta find all the drugs and like that
Uh-huh.
kind of shit too. So
Yeah.
and like obviously that's more of an issue at fish shows than it is at other shows, but I've experienced that at a bevy of different shows. So,
Sure.
um, but yeah. So as far as the band goes, so we already talked about the sound. We talked about the building. The building was
Hmm.
very interesting. The angles of the building may have also attributed to the poor sound
Hmm.
in the room. Um, I'm not an engineer, so there's a lot of different factors at play. My
Yeah.
whole thing is just try to focus and try to hone in, and more often than not, you'll get where you need to be.
Hmm.
When it comes to that, same thing goes with the visuals. So I knew going in that Andy wasn't going to be there. Um, and it was a different presentation, not
Mm.
just because it was in the round. Uh, I talked to Chris Ruppel, my cohort in all of this lighting nonsense, and the best way that I could describe it was it wasn't bad, it was different. Just it was a softer touch.
Okay.
Um, there wasn't as much.
Vision.
No, everything was very well thought out.
Okay.
It lacked a certain it lacked a signature element that Andy brings to the table, and it's the big thing that I learned from him is that hard contrasting like dynamics, big, small, bright, dark, that kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
all of that comes from Andy Watson, especially like
Nice.
early, like in the '90s, like old school park hand light show Andy Watson, where it's just like bang, he'll bang like 40 blue lights from this side, and then all of a sudden it's like just like four red lights on this side. And like big, stark, contrasting looks and
Damn.
and feelings, right? And so that's where I got that vision of how to operate a show is from Andy, and that was not there. Now, what was there was one of the most incredible visual, like video presentations I've ever seen.
Nice.
Super
Th-
organic, super psychedelic, unbelievably well thought out and well executed from both like a content and a camera direction. And so they
hmm.
had a camera on a track that went all the way like circled all the way around the stage. So
Oh,
it
cool.
created this like carousel effect on the
Oh,
video
that's
that's going
awesome.
and like
Yeah.
you're like whoa, and like and then just doing a lot of the like generative like camera affecting of each of the guys and like this morphing, and it was really incredible stuff. Um, and the light show was sufficient. Um, I think I think for where I was,
Above reproach.
I think for where I was because a lot of the light show is inside the video, like
Okay.
on the stage. So I feel like because I feel like the light show was more for the people on the floor, and the video show was more for the people out in the house. And
Okay.
so, depending on where you are, you got two very different shows. You know, because as that video wall rises up above the band, you can't see it if you're on the floor. You can see, you're looking into
Oh,
the
sure.
like looking
Yeah.
into the abyss. So, it was a cleverly designed show that could be very different depending on where you were in the room. And I
Oh,
like that.
okay.
I like
Yeah,
that.
that's
So
cool.
where, if if I were to go to another show or when they do this again, I would very, very much, make every effort to go be down on the floor just to see how different it really is down there.
Hmm.
Um, and I
Because yeah,
think
they had like a video. They had like a series of video walls that were all
it was
on
basically a
like
ring around
winches.
the
Yeah.
stage. Yeah. So they could, so it like they started inside the video array. And then as the show goes on, the video array rises and then it takes on a bunch of different formations. And so, yeah,
Yeah, that looked
yeah,
really cool.
it was
I'm
dope.
glad to hear they had the content to match it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So as far as the music goes, I made a post about this on socials the other day, and I'll just kind of elaborate a little bit more. But this is the first time that I can remember them touring without an album.
Mm.
They've always kind of the one thing is as like non-conventional as they are, their one conventional approach has always been like we take however long we need to take to record an album, and then we go and we tour the album, and then we take a break, and then we record a new album, and then we tour the album, right? So, you know, the 8 other times that I've seen them now or whatever, it's always been, whether it's, in Rainbows or whatever, King of Limbs or this album, that album, blah, 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 blah. This is the first time that they didn't have an album attached to the tour. And that gave them the freedom to really mix up the set lists. But also, and I think this is why they played in the round. I think this was the primary reason. There are two things this is my mindset here as to why they chose to do it the way they did it. One, because they are playing the entire like scope of their catalog.
Yeah.
There's actually a spreadsheet that some of the nerds have made that is charting every album, so all the songs that they're playing from each album and then what nights they're playing them on. So there's basically an A show and a B show. So they're playing 4 nights in each city. They go A, B, A, B. But
Okay.
what they're doing is, let's say 80% of this A show is the same as the other A show, and then the 20% is different. And then they'll also mix up the order. So every night is different to some degree. But
Okay.
what that also means is because of the vast array of instruments and technology that they use for all of these different songs, they need to have access to all of this different shit. And so what they basically created was like a band practice environment where they just
Mm.
have all their shit laying all over the stage. And
Yeah.
they're able to just kind of float around to different stations. It's really cool.
That's
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
and so I think for them both, just like in a performance mindset of like kind of instead of it feeling like a concert, it feels like you're just watching band practice. You're just seeing 5 dudes on stage just kind of floating around, fucking around on each of these toys and all the different things that they have. But it also allowed them to have access to more things than they normally would, in a more effective or efficient manner, maybe I suppose. Because like in the old days, if they're playing like this super old song that needs this Rhodes or whatever, they would like wheel it out and then
Hmm.
wheel it right back off stage. And I think because there's just so many songs and there's just so many options, they were like, this is going to get crazy if we're just wheeling shit on and off all night long. So like, let's
Right.
just have it all here in place somewhere, and we'll just go where we need to go from song to song.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and
that's
that,
kind of cool too, just in the sense of like, I don't know, creating expectations. Also, you just see like all this stuff on stage. And
well,
you're like,
yeah,
well, they're gonna fucking do something with it, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
really cool.
there is a certain level of impressiveness when you see the grand piano, when you see these other vintage synthesizers, and you see this drum kit, and you see this other percussion thing, and you see this, Johnny's got his Andes Martineau up there, and he's got this thing and that thing. And it's just there's just shit everywhere, and you're just like, it makes our stage look like fucking kids play, and so like, um, so yeah, and then just from like an actual performance standpoint, like there was just a looseness to everything that I've never really experienced either, and I think that there's some. I think that there's some residual effects from the Smile. We've talked about the Smile, Tom and Johnny's side project,
Hmm.
where it is, they're playing with this like avant-garde jazz drummer. So like time and and flow on the Smile is so much more wide open and loose and floaty. And I think they brought a little bit of that flavor to Radiohead.
Hmm.
I saw them like playing and stretching time and doing things that I've never seen them do live, just within these songs. And not to say that they're like improvising, but it's just like the rigidness of how they used to perform wasn't there. It was
Okay.
looser, it was freer. They would maybe they would take an intro and they would run it an extra 8 bars and like just play with like little like thematic things, and it was really interesting to see that. And then from a vocal standpoint, Tom was definitely like on and off the beat a lot more than
Hmm.
than he generally would be, and so his phrasings were a little different, and that was really cool to see. So,
Nice.
um, a I'll give the show an A minus. Obviously, only really just because of the sound, issues. They were present and they were real. And then obviously, you know, it's a funny thing when I think if I had gone to this show 5 or 10 years earlier, if these circumstances had existed, I
Hmm.
think Andy not being there would have had a greater impact on me.
Okay.
Um, I'm so much more just let's just see what happens. So like knowing that Andy's not there and knowing that it's going to be different from what I would want it to be, I would, you build those kind of things up in your head.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And even and the fact that I was able to like speak to their manager about it before I went to the show and like had full on confirmation and like yeah, he's like we're going in a different way, in a different direction, and
Yeah.
um but it didn't affect anything. It was really, in fact, if anything, I was like, it made me maybe even a little bit more open minded. So,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's like
def
instead of a disappointment, it's like an opportunity to be surprised.
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of cool.
So,
Yeah.
I did miss his impact. It did lack a certain punch. But like I said, that where it thrived in other ways certainly made up for his absence. So, Andy, I hope you're well. I don't know why he's not. I don't like I said that I don't know the reasons behind these things. Hopefully, it's just life goes on kind of thing. I don't know. Or
Yeah.
he had some other obligation that he couldn't get out of. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. After he's
Uh,
like, well, it's been 8 years, guys. I kind of got a few other things going on
hmm
now.
So,
So,
yeah. So I'll give our boys from Britain an A minus. Job well done.
hell yeah. Worth the
Um,
trip then. Yeah.
oh yeah, well worth it. And like Chris and I bopped around Spain and hung out in Barcelona for a few days, and then um, you know drank a lot of booze and did a lot of walking and saw a bunch of shit, and it was great,
Nice.
fantastic. It was
How was
nice.
food?
Food's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the funny thing is, so we go to this place in Barcelona. We literally, so we land at like, I don't know, 11 a.m. or something, right? So it was like, we got to hit the ground running. Don't go to bed, right? Because
Hmm.
that's how you get jet lagged.
Right.
So hit the ground running, and we got to just stay up as if we slept all night. I maybe slept like, maybe if I was lucky, I slept like 2 hours on that flight. So it's just like, all right, start drinking, start eating. Let's just
Hmm.
go have fun, and let's
Yeah.
get through this first day, have a good night's sleep, and then we'll just go from there. So we go to this place. I can't think of the name of it now off the top of my head, but it was wild. And it was like this, it was mostly seafood. And, you know, Chris is not a big seafood person. And so I'm looking at this menu and I'm like, are you going to eat any of this? And she's like, I think I can find a few things. I was like, you picked this place out. Why are we here? She's like, I don't know. Everyone tells me that we had to go here. And I was like, all right, well, good luck to you. So I ended up stuffing my fucking face because we would like order some things and she would like try like a little nibble of it. And then I'd have to eat the rest of it. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, it was, yeah, it was great. The food was amazing. The cities. We played in Barcelona, I think, a million years ago, but I think that was my first time in Madrid. I could be wrong about that. But both beautiful cities, different cities. Madrid had a very like Parisian kind of feel to it.
Okay.
Have you ever been?
No, I've never been. I've never been anywhere in Europe, actually. Sadly, yeah.
But you've been to Japan 18 times.
3, but
well, 18, 3, whatever.
It's comparable. I know. Well, that's the thing. We keep having that conversation. We're like, all right, we got to go somewhere else this time, and then like the Cubs are playing in Japan, and it's like, well, fuck, now we're going to Japan again, you know. So, yeah. Well, and also like the number one place that Hannah wants to go is Egypt, and it's just like the situation there is not great right now.
Yeah.
But it kind of never is. So it's also one of the. I remember you told me to talk to Ethan about this.
Yeah, talk to Ethan
he's
about
been,
it.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's the other thing is I'm like, well, we could go to Egypt or we could go to Tokyo again. But yeah, I don't know. We're actually talking to some friends about maybe going to Iceland.
There you go.
Next year, but yeah, we're figuring it out. But
so
yes, we agree. We need to go other places.
So here's a question: now that the Northern Lights are making their way all over the United States, now what's the fucking point in going to Iceland?
It's true. I know we didn't see it from our place, but I saw some photos people took over Lake Michigan, like from downtown Chicago, that were just unbelievable.
Yeah, it was cloudy, like incredibly cloudy here both nights, so I did not get to see any of it, but. No, I mean, Iceland's amazing. That's actually one place I haven't been to yet either. And I'll find my way there eventually.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of reason to go to Iceland besides the Aurora Borealis. Before I start getting a bunch of hate email.
Yep. Yeah, there's some hot dog there that everybody who goes there is like, you have to get this hot dog. It's like the Icelandic. Yeah, there's some.
What is it, like elk or something?
No, it's just, I don't know. It's just like, it's really long. It's one of those like long, skinny hot dogs. And then they have like I don't know, there's like a mayo topping and like a ketchup topping. And I don't know, everyone just raves about it.
Let me tell you something. Okay, so we've been to Norway, we've been to Sweden, Denmark, all the rest
Fucking
of
jealous, yeah.
all the rest of those countries. And they eat some weird fucking food.
Yeah,
I'll just say that. And there was, oh God, I'm trying. It might have been Norway. So this is a funny story. So we go to get lunch somewhere, and I get a salad and some fish thing. I don't fucking know, right? And there's a bottle of black liquid on the table. Now, generally speaking, when you go to a restaurant, especially one that, has salads and such, you just, what's the best way to describe this? It didn't feel like the type of place that would do what they did. So I take this bottle of black liquid and I dump it all over my fucking salad, thinking that it's balsamic vinegar.
Yeah.
Well, I was wrong. It was soy sauce. And I guess, thinking about it like after the fact, like all they eat is fish here. So sure,
yeah, right.
they have soy sauce.
Yep.
But, like it for what I didn't even dawn on me to try it. I was just like, oh, balsamic vinegar. Boop, 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 boop. And then I take a bite and I was like, like
salt
what the
salad.
fuck did I just do? So, yeah, if you travel to Northern Europe, be weary of everything, honestly, when it comes to food.
Yeah, that's not a part of the world I would have expected to find soy sauce as like a regular. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that seems like, I mean, Italy's over there. It's probably
just like, I think more than that, it's just like there's such an association with just Chinese food, soy sauce, Chinese food. That's it. and but there's also, it's the same food though. Chinese food is so based in fish and seafood, and
Mm.
so is Northern Europe. So it makes sense after, like, once I thought about it, I was like, yeah, this totally makes sense. But
Yeah, it
just
turns out soy is delicious with fish. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it was
Yeah, that
it was.
sounds
I mean, I almost puked because
like a rough bite of salad. Yeah.
I'm a nice little Italian boy. I love me some vinegar. I will
Hmm.
dump half a but I will shoot vinegar. I love vinegar so much. And so it was an excessive amount of vinegar, or I should say, an excessive amount of soy sauce on my salad.
Yeah.
Um and when I took that bite, it took everything in me not to fucking puke everywhere. So like, I was just like, whoa.
Well, there's that expectation too when like you're expecting a certain flavor and a different one
Oh
comes.
yeah,
It's like so off-putting. Yeah.
equally as powerful, but in the wrong way.
Yeah. Right.
So, um,
Well, shit.
yeah. So what have you been up
Well,
to
go ahead.
while I've been gone?
Well, one thing I will mention that I've been doing since, well, not that I've been doing, but that I did while you were gone is I went to a regional bodybuilding show.
Did you go see Starkey?
No.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
no, I forgot he does that. Yeah. No, a friend of mine, actually, a couple of friends of mine are very big into fitness and bodybuilding and stuff. One of them, it's a couple, and the husband, my buddy Cass, he did a show a few years ago and like hated the experience so much that he was like, I'm never gonna do it again. He liked the show. It's like all the stuff leading up to it to like get your body, as like tuned as possible and
Sure.
like get your skin like shrink wrapped onto your muscles.
Yeah.
Is a weird crazy process that involves eating like nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
And
you're basically killing yourself to try to look as perfect as possible.
yeah, yeah.
When you get below, like, I don't know what the threshold is, but I think when you get below like 5% body fat, you're on the verge of dying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a crazy existence.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So his wife wanted to do a bodybuilding show, and so she was doing one, and yeah, it was hilarious seeing how she was just like so angry for like 3 weeks leading up to the show because she was like, all I can eat is grapefruit and tuna,
Jesus.
and yeah, plain, like just that, and like
You
water.
should have given her some soy sauce.
Yeah, right. I don't. I'm sure salt intake is like no. You get none of that.
Yeah, because you retain water. Yeah.
Yeah, and and then like just water and coffee, and they do this crazy thing also where for like weeks ahead of the show you drink like 2 gallons of water a day.
Yeah.
So that basically to train your body to like flush that much water out, and then like the few days before the show you drink like only 1 gallon of water because then your body's trying to flush out twice as much, and that's what creates the whole like you basically dehydrate your skin so it just like it just absolutely seals itself to your muscles and just gives that like what the fuck, I can see everything happening inside of this person's body. It's like because the veil between skin and muscle is at its thinnest on this.
Did you bring a camera? Were you like backstage or anything like that, or did you just...
No, we weren't backstage or anything. It was like, man, this is I don't know how much of the backstage was kind of like everywhere because there's so many fucking people that participate in this.
Yeah,
it was nuts. The thing, anybody who has a friend who does this stuff and invites you to their regional bodybuilding show, I will tell you this: if they are female, show up like 3 hours after the start time because there are like 700 dudes that are going to go first. Yeah, it was like this nonstop meat parade for like fucking hours of just all of these guys. And it's really funny because very quickly, you start to become an expert. And like somebody comes on stage and you're like, this person has no business being here. Like, it just,
well, I mean,
it becomes really obvious very quickly.
Yeah, it's such an artificial thing, it doesn't, the talent is,
nobody's judging them on their like floor routine. It's like just purely superficial.
Your only real talent is discipline, which I mean is a massive talent, but You're not going up there and fucking juggling or trying to make 3-pointers.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, it was a very unique experience.
yeah,
I've
I would
certainly
imagine.
never been to anything like this before. It was very cool from just like a getting a glimpse into like a whole other culture,
Sure.
kind of standpoint.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, there are people who are clearly like, I don't know what heads are of like bodybuilding contests, if there's some clever name for them, but just like the people that are obsessive that go to these things all the
Yeah.
time, even like
Yeah.
these small kind of regional ones.
There's fanatics. There's fanatics for
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know I have the tiniest bit of a memory of in the early, I think it was the early 90s. Vince McMahon, the owner, or he used to own the WWF. He actually he either bought or tried to start a bodybuilding organization, and he was going to try to do like shows and competitions and all that stuff. It failed miserably. I think it lasted less than a year. It was like it may have gone worse than the XFL did. I can't remember exactly, but I was a kid when this happened, so but I just remember being like, so these guys aren't going to beat the shit out of each other? I'm not watching this.
I know, that's what we started talking about. I was like, at a certain point, I would have been impressed if somebody showed me something utilitarian that this body allowed them to do.
Yeah.
Like for what?
Yeah. Sort of
At
like
a certain point, you're just like, why?
like the Miss America pageant or something, right? Like you gotta be more than just a pretty face and a good body.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to do something. Here you
Yeah.
go.
At the NFC Gladiator competition or NPC or whatever it was called.
Did you see
That's
this?
all you got to be.
Did you see this video of this? Chile maybe? I don't know. It was some South American beauty pageant, and this woman, who is stunningly gorgeous, her talent for the talent portion, she starts doing fucking death metal vocals.
Didn't see this.
It was the wildest shit I've ever seen. I was like, what
I heard it first. My buddy was watching it and I just heard him. I was like, what are you listening to? And then he turns it around and there's this like stunningly beautiful woman just like,
yeah. So
she sounded good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
as an old school Cannibal Corpse and Opeth and many other growl metal band fans, I have a bit of an ear for this.
There you go. So she's
an
doing
art
a good
to
job. I know there's an art to it. It's all about something about singing from down here, right? And you, it's such an odd thing, though.
It was cool. The guy from Opeth always impressed me because he could go from that to like perfect on pitch, like melodic singing, like within a measure, just from one second to the next in a song. He'll just change, and it's like, what the fuck?
That
Plus, he's playing lead guitar at the same time, also on fucking prog rock, like time signature changes every 2 measures kind of music. So wild.
I've always humored myself with that type of music, but it's never made any sense to me. Because even the music part that they're playing, it's like there's like 18 sections and they all last like 24 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is going on right now? Like, I mean, I listen to a lot of complicated, like, self-grandizing, fucking nonsense. And like what those guys do is incredibly difficult, but it's also like, why?
Yeah, it's pretty much the whole math metal. I know a lot of it is called because it's just like, dude, it's a Fibonacci sequence, don't you see? And it's like, no, nobody sees that except you. But yeah, no, I similarly have a lot of issues. A lot of those bands, teeter on the edge of like being impressive, but also having zero musicality.
Yeah.
Because it's just purely like a technical exercise. Like, what's the most complicated, kind of thing. And that's where it all like comes from instead of like, I'm trying to express something.
Yeah.
So you do see that, but man, every once in a while, like again, I'll bring up Opeth because I really do love that band. But they've always managed to find some kind of balance between those two elements.
Well, there you go. And that's,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think
But they're one of the few for sure.
Yeah. What,
So, yeah, I remember when Guitar Hero came out, it was all the rage. That band Dragon Force became like a little bit more known. Yeah, because that was always like the hardest song in Guitar Hero was the drag, because it's just like insane shit, and there's like 7 guitar solos, you know, like all this type of stuff. But yeah, I mean, yes, those guys can move their hands and manipulate at a guitar at incredible speeds. I don't think they have a lick of artistic talent.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they can just do it quick and accurate, and like that's impressive. But
send them a Muddy Waters record and be like, "Could you play this?"
Yeah. If you know, sometimes one note, appropriately used, can do all of this work. You know,
Jesus,
but, yeah. Anyway, so there was that, which I will say at the NPC Gladiator Midwest competition, the sound was excellent.
Was there a light show?
The lights were on. I would describe the lights as definitely on.
There was no grandiose like entranceway for them to walk out on. That's
and it's crazy. Like only some of them get to like pick their own song. Even like a bunch of people, because there's so many fucking people.
Yeah.
They just play music, and you just don't know what 10 seconds of music.
But you know who the star is when fucking Born to Be Wild comes on or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one guy. Every once in a while, like a fucking artist took the stage, you know? It was somebody with like a creative streak in him. And there was one guy who did I don't know. It straddled the line between music and sound design.
Okay.
But he actually coordinated all of his movements like with the sound design. It felt like it was accompanying his movements, you know, and like very few people did that.
Gotcha.
Like most people, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, you know, I want the drum hit from I Can Feel It in the Air Tonight.
Yeah.
Because that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But like they're just doing it while this is happening. It's not like on the beat or anything like that. But
it's like fucking Dancing with the Stars or something. Or like figure skating, right? Don't figure skaters like choreograph the music and the movement and all that kind of shit?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, every once in a while you get a bodybuilder who did that, and they really stood out. They They didn't win, but they stood out to me.
Well, those are the guys that have to do something like that because they know that they haven't put in the work otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, my body's not quite there. How can I compensate for this?
Yeah. There were some people that were like, it was like looking at, you know, one of those like anatomy books where they have the different, like, here's the skin, and then here's the vascular system, and here's the muscles, and they're all like overlaid. Yeah. Like, it was like looking at one of those. You could just, as they came out, you're like, I can see like all of those muscle fibers that I've seen in books, like they're here. They're just, I'm looking at them right now. And it's kind of bizarre, a little unsettling at times, especially because they sometimes make them like dance. You know, they like move their muscle across their body and stuff. And it's like, don't do
weird.
That. So anyway, full marks for the technical team there.
I mean, you know, of all of the things that I could have guessed that you did while I was away, that would not have made the list. So,
right, yeah,
way to be unpredictable.
Yeah, trying some new things. So yeah, no, first time. If Megan, shout out to Megan Mason, competitor number 223.
Okay.
Crushed it. She was great.
Do they have like the full like broadcast up on like YouTube or something?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. I took some. I bought one of Kodak's cute little fucking charm cameras.
Oh, look at that thing.
Yeah, it's adorable.
That is adorable.
It's kind of like the one I got in Japan, but you can the viewfinder actually works, and it does have a screen.
Oh wow.
Which is great at consuming battery.
Yeah.
And so I decided on a whim to just bring that. I'm like, I'm not going to overcomplicate this. I'm here to support my friend, check out the show. I'm not going to be just behind the lens the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
So I took this, everything completely blown out, worthless photos. None of it's.
Are there exposure settings on the camera, or
no?
is it just wide open?
it's auto exposure, so
Okay.
it's gonna adjust itself. But it was one of those like the whole room is dark, and then there's this light blasting on the stage, and
Yeah,
it would try to get the balance between those two instead of just exposing the light. So
yeah.
and there's no manual controls, so
Did you have your finger over the sensor?
I should have. um, but yeah, so I would imagine though they had a camera crew there, of course,
Yeah.
and there was one guy with an iPhone on a gimbal who was doing the same shot the entire fucking show for like 4 hours, just the same line behind this one row of seats. And I was like, we were laughing about it, and then I realized afterwards that he was probably shooting like a TikTok video that's going to have like a transition, between like
each of
all the bodybuilders.
Yeah.
And that will probably be the thing from the show that gets by far the most views and the most engagement out of anything that's produced there. So I was like, what? He's
so
he's probably the guy who's doing the real work right now.
Yeah. So speaking of that, because this is actually something I wanted to talk to you about. This is while I was on planes and trains and during downtime and whatever, I've been doing some research on different avenues of content, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, what are the best ways to get engagement? What are the best ways to get information out? What what eye-catching new tricks are there? Blah, 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 right? So just kind of, it's always good to kind of keep up on those things if you actually want people to pay attention to what you're doing, because I'm doing a very bad job of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have a long-standing history of doing a piss poor job of that. So.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Well, I've got metrics to tell me just how bad of a job I'm doing. Because,
nice.
So real quick, while we're talking about this, so yesterday I launched the pre-order for the prints for the paintings from A Light Requires Darkness to Shine. So you can go to my website, thephoebuscartel.com, and pre-order any of the prints, any print that you may, if you'd like. It's not doing well. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
I
think, you hear that, people? Get out there.
Yeah. So help me out, please. Yeah. I think of the 2,000 people that saw the post yesterday, I think 20 of them actually went to my website. So the percentages are not good right now.
Okay.
So I got some work to do this week to try to get some interests on that. But with that being said,
how do you get that click through? Yeah.
That's the thing, man. I read all this stuff and I'm like, that's the thing is, like, what I posted was actually a suggestion from like one of these influencer content creator people, and I was like, well, that didn't work. So on to the next. So this one guy had some clever, like, they're not green screen effects, but they are, right? And he was talking about all of these different ways to like cut jump him being in the video. So like one of them was like this effect where he like jumps into a coffee cup and then pops back out, and all while he's talking about whatever random thing he's talking about. And then like another one was like he could walk in on this side of the screen, and then he could also walk in on this side of the screen, and then like he's doubled himself. And then there's like a third guy that comes in from the back, and it's and like all of these like goofy like overlay effects and such. And he's like, this trick just bought me 7 more seconds. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, is this really what it's come to? Like, I got to do carnival tricks?
I was gonna say, I'm about to start crying, like openly weeping right now over like the wounds that have just been inflicted by everything I just heard.
Yeah, dude, social media is a wild place, man, and you got to do some real dumb shit to get people's attention.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, so if you know of any clever camera tricks or compositing effects that I should be exploring, let me know.
Well, I do, but they're mine. I'm holding on to these fucking things now. This is what was just me like bored fucking around with a camera and some lights, and my bathroom is now like, I don't know, internet gold apparently.
Yeah, it
I got to
probably
keep that
is.
shit close to the
Well,
chest. Yeah.
I do have some ideas. I do. I just need
Nice.
to actually execute them. I've been
I have a couple I'll share with you off the air. Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
There we go. So I have. Did I tell you about the glass experiments?
This doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. So this will be a fun one to maybe if people make it to this far into the episode, this will intrigue them to actually pay attention to something I do. Um, you know glass bath tiles,
Yeah.
like the big thick ones, like we're
Yeah.
talking shit from like the 80s.
Yeah. We used to have a whole house I grew up in. We had a whole bathroom that was
Yeah.
covered in those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, about a month or so ago, maybe a little longer now. I was at this antique shop, sort of junk shop place, and they had 100 of them just sitting out, and different types. So like one that has ridges, one that has like a swirl pattern, one that has like speckles, like all these different
Oh,
textures,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
So I bought one of each. I've got like 8 of them, 8 different textures, and I'm trying to figure out how to push light through them and then film and get like what's the word I'm looking for when you actually like build and make something, you're not using a computer to do it? What, practical?
Fabric. Yeah. Practical effect.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Mhm.
working on these like cool
Or in
like
camera. Yeah.
yeah, these like cool like practical effects um to kind of go along, because obviously, everything I'm doing is practical in a sense, right? Whether it's painting or, the analog stuff, it's not, there is a touch of digitalness going on, but it's mostly, you know, hands-on and real in
Yeah.
some form or
You're
fashion.
manipulating the actual thing.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
a. Yeah.
yeah. There's no ones and zeros. It's all, you know, real world stuff. So I was like, okay, well, how can I incorporate practicality in the actual capturing of all of the things that I'm doing? And these bath tiles seem to be an option. A good one? To be determined.
Hmm.
I don't know. We'll see.
I've got a pile of a couple of those where I'm like, no, I'm not giving up on this yet. It didn't work the way I thought it would, but I feel like there's still something here.
Yeah.
There's meat on that bone. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you start seeing some really distorted, odd-looking videos, it's because I'm filming myself doing whatever it is that I'm doing through vintage bathroom glass tiles.
Fuck yeah.
So,
All right. Yeah, I want to see that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I like it. And also, if you're on the fence about picking up one of Greg's prints, this is not one of Greg's prints, but it is a print that I just got recently that I'm very happy with.
I can't see it.
Doesn't it look fucking gorgeous? You could have some of Greg's art on your wall looking this good. Yeah.
There's some. I mean, there are a handful of those paintings. So what I plan to do this week is to actually kind of break down each painting, what it means in sequential order as the mixtape was intended. So I'm hoping that will maybe, connect some dots for people and maybe get them, because it's the one thing that I've learned in the last 5 years is that selling art makes no sense at all. Because I'll tell you right now, so this is a funny thing, because the things that I think will do well tend to not. The things that I hate tend to do amazingly well, and everything in between. And yeah, we've talked about, the narrative aspect and trying to convey meaning beyond just what may or may not be visually appealing. And I did a good job of it at the show, but now I need to do a good job of it after the show.
Sure.
And so I think that's what's gonna hopefully move this thing further along, because I would like to. Well, I don't need to say what I wanted to say, because that's just it's a stupid thing to say. So I'm
No,
gonna bite my tongue.
um, Hannah's a art. She's an artist, and she was an
Yeah,
art history major, and so she's taken lots of courses on all sorts of elements of art and everything.
yeah,
And one of her art teachers in college told her one time was like, "It's you're not selling the art, you're selling the idea that you had a vision for it when you made
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's what people are buying,
Yeah.
and so so absolutely, like getting that narrative out there is definitely
Yeah.
what's going to spur that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was always an interesting. It's one of those things I always remind myself of, because I think that that is true across disciplines also.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. It's just I think it's the most, you know, I look at what a lot of other artists are doing, and it's such an interesting thing to me, right? Because the successful ones, this is going to sound condescending, and I don't want it to be, but the most successful artists I've noticed have a gimmick. They have an idea that started 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they never left that idea, for better or for worse. So when you think
It's
of
true.
like,
Like Jeff Koons is a good example.
yeah,
The
like a
balloon
lot of,
dog. Yeah.
yeah, like a lot of like street art, like street artists, and like, again, this is not a knock on anybody, but like when I think of like some of the guys that I like got to know in Atlanta, like Wolf Dog and Greg Mike, these guys are fucking incredible artists, but they have this very, very specific approach to their art. It doesn't go outside their bounds ever. And so it becomes you're buying them. You're not buying the idea behind the art anymore. You're just buying them. They're like
Right.
like almost like name brand artists, I guess, in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like, oh, it's a Banksy.
yeah,
So yeah.
and so but like with Banksy though, like his stuff did tell like each piece told a story.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in abstract it's tricky because and like these guys aren't well, Wolf Dog's abstract, Greg's illustrative. So Greg's whole thing is like very like pop cartoonish but like psychedelic and like kind of twisted a little bit. It's really dope stuff. I love his shit. But it's very like they have this signature thing and they just expound on that signature thing over and over and over again. I don't know that I have the capability to approach art that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see what happens in another 5 years. If I find that thing, that's the other thing is like I'm still searching.
Right. Yeah.
But then there's like this woman. There's this woman in Charleston that Christina loves, and her thing is she does this. It's like this special type of paper that she uses. I can't think of the name of it, but she stains it with different tea. So
Oh,
like she
okay.
uses tea as paint, and then
Interesting. Yeah.
right, and so it's this very texturally it's very interesting looking, and then it's these very simple just line silhouettes of like women or flowers, and that's it. Very
Hmm.
simple stuff, right? And this, she, I'm on her email list because I've bought a couple of these for Christina over the years. And so what she'll do is she'll like make like 40 of them, and then she'll do a drop, and like you have to be on her email list to like even have. That's the thing is like her people are like buying more and more and more and more and more of these things. They're like collecting
Oh
them
wow.
almost, and every once in a while she'll do something different, but it's still very much like in her like very small little wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I don't know if I get I don't know if I get like what's the deterred
Uh-huh.
from like how this all works when I watch people like that become hyper successful because like I'm like Jesus Christ like how like I don't in my worst nightmare I couldn't be doing the same thing I was doing 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Um,
It seems like a
yeah,
common thing with, I mean, especially I'm in the art world, and I think this has been pretty. Again, bringing up Banksy, if you've never seen Exit Through the Gift Shop,
yeah,
Obviously that is pretty scathing as far as, you know, how people look at the art world and what people are actually buying, you
Yeah.
know, is it's exactly as you said. It's like a designer name brand thing, you know.
Yeah.
That's almost more of a lot of people. They don't fucking know whether it's good art or not. They're like, no, I want to be able to tell people I have Banksy or
So
whatever
and
the
so.
fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what matters.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird status thing. Obviously, with an artist like this, it's a bit different. But I know in film as well, that's something that's constantly been spoken about. Is that like most filmmakers, actually, if you really get down to it and look at their whole filmography, they've kind of been making the same movie over and over and over again. You know,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
obviously
I mean,
there's
there's plenty of
auteur.
them out there. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And even a lot of the auteur types, you know, like Tarantino and Scorsese and people like that, you know, Tarantino has a very unique style that's like, it's not the same movie every time, but it's like always very clearly a Tarantino movie, you know?
Yeah.
And in a way, and I think Wes Anderson is the one who's probably the easiest to point to that it's like, it's really obvious if it's a fucking Wes Anderson movie, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in a sense, it's kind of similar where it's like, no, I've found like the materials or the way that like these three components interact that is kind of like my signature style.
Yeah.
And now everything is that, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
now I'm
Yeah.
going to put everything through that lens, you know, and show the world that, you know, and even if you look at Scorsese, it's like his,
Well,
I know you just watched the doc about him.
so I was
Yeah.
gonna say, so let's save the Scorsese talk for next week. So if you
Okay.
have the time to at least watch a couple of those episodes, I need to go
Yeah.
back. I think I made it through four. I don't know if there's five or six. This fucking documentary is long.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 6 parts, I think,
Oh, cool.
and it
Awesome.
spans his entire career. So let's save the Scorsese talk because I know where you're going with this, but I think when you watch this and you see what he did, I think you'll actually take him off this list of people that we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He has those movies, but
Yeah.
he also doesn't.
Oh,
And
absolutely. Yeah. No,
yeah,
his
and
output
so
is crazy.
and that's the thing, right? Is like I think there's a way to do both, right? Like you shouldn't just like forsake the thing that you're known for or that you're great at or whatever, but there should be this desire to add to it, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening with a lot of artists. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
I think once people find that thing, they become content with just pushing that thing, you know, as far as it can go.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and
You
then,
can keep
and then,
riding the why
yeah,
rock the
yeah,
boat if
yeah,
it's sturdy. Yeah.
yeah,
You know, to I guess throw a Bob Dylan reference out there. Not everybody has the balls to go electric, you know. If you're already Bob Dylan, like why, you know?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
but he did, and obviously it worked for him, and he was even a greater artist for it. So,
yeah,
you know, take the fucking risk, people.
yeah. Because
That's
I
why you
think,
got
you know,
into art in the first place, and then
well,
you get content. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a, you know, it's funny. So you'll love this. So while I was doing that show over the weekend, there is this gentleman by the name of John Zelinka. He is the infamous laser safety officer of New York City.
Mm.
This guy's a fucking legend. I've known him for almost 20 years now. The stories this guy has are just unbelievable at
I can
times.
only imagine. Yeah.
Like if you could paint a picture in your mind of like, think of the show Taxi, right? That's right.
Mhm.
It was called Taxi with DeVito and Andy Kaufman and all them,
Right. Yep.
right? So think of like the quintessential New Yorker in the show Taxi. But then like for the next 50 years did everything and anything creative and absurd under the sun, and just imagine where he would be in 2025. This is that guy.
Holy
And,
shit.
yeah. And
Where's
so,
okay documentary? Let's go.
dude, this guy is something else, man. He's the best. I talked to him for hours, you know, and just like, and we were talking, and he's like, you're the only guy that I get to have these conversations. He's like, I meet all these other lighting designers and laser guys, and none of them are interesting. He's like, you're the only one. And I was like, John, it's because I am just as fucking crazy as you are. Because I grew up listening to Frank Zappa, and I grew up fucking doing a bunch of drugs, and I grew up fucking not being able to repeat my successes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that's it. He's like, you know how to fail. And I was and I was just like, holy shit. I was like, am I talking to my future self right now? Like, what is going on right
now? That's incredible. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I want to meet this guy.
He's
and
the
probably
head. He's the head of the 3D Stereoscopic Association. He does. I gotta. He's gonna send me. He's gonna send me the link to this thing. But he does this like pseudo like public broadcast interview show where he like interviews all sorts of crazy like technical and creative people around the world.
Damn.
He's putting out music under the stage name Johnny Laser, and it's like I'm telling you, man, this guy's the real fucking deal. He is the best, and
I love him already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But he wants to because I told him, I was like, well, guess what, John? I moved back to New York. I'm back. And he's like, no, you're not. I was like, yeah. He's like, where are you? I was like, well, I'm in Rhinebeck. He's like, that fucking Amtrak. I don't know. And I was like, what are you talking about, John? I was like, the Amtrak's literally the best part of my day.
Yeah.
He's like, sure. He's like, but after you've ridden it for 50 years, it's no longer the best part of your day. And I was like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, do anything long enough.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's like, let's do some shit. He's like, he's working with a bunch of like 3D designers. He actually has one of the Black Magic cameras that works with with the Apple Vision Pro thing. So the dual lens, stereoscopic camera.
What?
So he's working with like a few people in the city on these like 3D experiments and shit. And he was like, your analog stuff in conjunction with all this would be the fucking coolest thing ever. So we'll see where that goes. I don't know.
Damn. All right. So, well, whenever I get my ass out there, let's plan a weird day with John Zelinka.
Yes.
Yeah.
Johnny Laser.
Pardon me.
The man. He's so funny. He gave me a little lenticular card. So we're like going through my camera or going through my phone, and I'm showing him some pictures of the paintings and some of the studio and stuff. And in the middle of all of that, the Ace Hardware across the street from here, they're building this giant. I mean, it's like half the front of the store, fucking Christmas village with like Lionel trains, the whole 9 yards. It's fucking nutty. And so Hudson and I were in there like while they were building it, and he was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. Yeah. And so he's like, is this your boy? And I was like, yeah. I was like, he's obsessed with trains. He's like, has he been on the subway? I was like, yeah, he actually has. I had to FaceTime him when I was on the subway because Christina was in the city earlier last week. Like, we got home and then she had to like turn right back around and go back down to the city for some conference thing or something. And she hates the subway. And so Hudson's like, Mommy, you gonna ride the subway? And she's like, no. He's like, yes, you are. He's like, Mommy, you're gonna ride the subway. And
called her out.
Yeah. And of course, she didn't get on the subway. And I was like, don't worry, Hudson. I have to go to the city this weekend, and I will ride the subway, and you can ride it with me. And so, like, I FaceTime him while I'm on the subway, and he's just losing it. And, like, all these people are looking at me like, what the fuck is going on over here? And
my child is experiencing wonder. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He loves it. He loves it.
That's awesome.
But, so John sees the video of Hudson freaking out over the trains at the Ace Hardware, and he's like, hold on a second. I think I got something. And he's like digging through his bag. And so every quarter or something, he collaborates with a different artist, and they make these little lenticular like business cards. And he's like, I like to just help people, get their stuff out there. And this dude made like a subway lenticular, and it's really dope. It's like literally the depth perception on this
Mm.
is the craziest like 3D effect I've ever seen, and it's
Holy
tiny.
shit.
You know, it's like literally the size of a business card, and it
Yeah.
looks like this train is going to jump right off the card.
Oh,
So
damn. That's awesome.
whatever they're doing is this like more advanced approach, and
That
he's
is
like,
a.
and
Go ahead. Yes.
and so he gives me the card, and he's like, "Give this to your boy. He's gonna fucking freak out." And I was like, "Okay." And so I I get home, I give it to him, and he looks at it, and he's like holding it, and at first he's moving his head back and forth,
Uh-huh.
right? He doesn't, you know, it's the first time he's ever seen anything like this. It's the funniest thing ever, and he starts doing this, and then he finally starts moving the card, and then he starts like playing with every angle, and he's like, "Is it moving?" And I was like, "It's magic." And he's like, "Yeah, it's magic." He's like,
Yeah,
"Can I
it
take
is.
this to school and show all my friends?" And I was like, "Yes, you can."
Yeah.
And like he was like completely like blown away by it. Like it was the greatest thing ever.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love that as it's a nice reference to the history of film as well. That was the first thing that was ever publicly exhibited that was shot with a motion picture camera was a train pulling into a station. And
I mean, I would imagine what was this, like 1910?
Late 1800s, I would think.
Oh, okay.
Even. Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, like
but
Lumiere
yeah, I mean,
Brothers shit. And the story, who knows how apocryphal it is, but the story is that everybody who was in the theater jumped out of their seats and ran for the exits because they thought the train was going to drive into the fucking, you know, through the wall. They were like, there's a train coming at us because nobody had ever seen a moving picture before.
Sure.
You know, it's like,
yeah.
It seems so ridiculous now to think, but it's like, no,
Huh?
like, if this was literally a completely fucking foreign concept to you, you know, this would be kind of terrifying. Like, what's going to happen? You know?
Yeah, no context is always an interesting thing. So
yeah.
well, that's fantastic. I mean, it would make sense that they would do a train because what more impressive thing was there to film it in that time than a
seriously,
than a steam engine? I would assume it was probably some big old fucking meaty,
some big deal shit. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's giant, just pouring out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So let's see. Have you made any progress on our radio play?
I have.
Oh boy,
none worth sharing.
Okay, cool. Well, I think
some things have come up, so I got busy with some other stuff,
dude,
which is great.
There's no deadline on this. We're just going to keep talking about it until it actually happens. So it's almost better actually that you take your time with it, so that way we can just keep stretching it out and we can build anticipation. And we can shut this episode down on that anticipation of when will the radio play actually happen. Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's coming. It's getting fucking weirder and weirder.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you have a working title?
Yes. Yeah, it's very loose right now because things are changing pretty rapidly. But the working title currently is Jimmy's Dreams, which I'll just leave it at that.
I dream of Jimmy.
Actually, Hannah would love that. She was a huge I Dream of Jeannie fan. So, but it's not our dream. It's Jimmy's dream. Very much Jimmy's dream. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
so that's where it's at right now. But it's rapidly evolving. So I have a feeling that might change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if it could turn into some sort of weird Inception thing, and then it could be I Dream of Jimmy, because we could be dreaming of Jimmy, and Jimmy could be dreaming of us, and we could never know whose actually dream we're inside of.
Technically, this is my dream of what Jimmy's dream is. So it is my dream. I dream of Jimmy's dreams.
I mean,
it's all right.
Hey, here's the deal.
This is why we need to check in about this. It's already things are moving. Yeah.
Yeah. So just every week we're gonna touch on it, and well, who knows what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
So all right. Well,
there's a lot of interesting stuff that I'm excited to share with you, but I've got a sort of cohesive element that needs to be completed still. That's going to kind of bring it all under one umbrella.
Got to have the thread.
Yes, exactly. It's missing the thread. It was a lot of ideas in search of a concept for a little while, but
Okay.
But I think it's found its guiding light. So
Beautiful.
now I have to make it. Now I have to make the guiding light. Yeah.
Cool. Well,
So
I look forward to hearing more.
yeah. So do I.
Well, I will. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I have to. One thing, real quick, before we sign off. I received a box full of hot sauces.
Oh yes.
And so I have to say thank you to the garden saucier himself.
Yes, Charlie. I have not opened my most recent box. It showed up, I think, the day before we left for Spain.
Yeah,
but yeah, we're all sauced up, baby. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. They're delicious. I've only tried 2 of the 4 that he sent me. They're fantastic.
Did you try the plum? Because that's one that's got me the most intrigued.
No, I haven't tried that one yet.
Okay.
I'm assuming I know which one it is. I think it's like blue suede. I'm calling it blue suede illegible because the third word I can't read. So,
Charlie, you got to work on your work on your packaging.
It's all right. They're handwritten on there, so I appreciate the wabi sabi. It's got a very personal touch. But as somebody who also loves to write small, and I do this with Sharpies all the time. I try to make letters smaller than they can be with a Sharpie tip. And you just end up with a couple of them just turn into that's just a shape now.
You know they make fine point Sharpies, right?
I know, but sometimes you pick up a Sharpie, it's just a regular ass Sharpie, and my natural inclination to write small gets the better of me.
All right, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas then.
Yeah. I've got some fine line Sharpies. And a series of very pointy pens. But thank you very much, Charlie, for sending the hot sauces. Yeah. They're really fucking good.
As I guess, I mean, at this point now, since we've both received product from you, you are now the official sponsor of the Stroke of Midnight. So this episode and all other episodes have been brought to you by the Garden Saucier. Get your hot sauce from them wherever you may find it. I have no idea.
The Garden Saucier, because there's nothing saucier than a saucier.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're just going to throw out...
Charlie, send us some copy for next week.
Yeah, right?
Start
Are you a fucking writer in here? Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See ya.